qualitative to me, because the question is, what were the challenges faced by faculty when using the current, whatever LMSA management system, learning management system. So when we ask what, how, those type of question, we tend to use, the verbal, the narratives to answer that question. So those are type of questions we address in qualitative researches. Okay, so because you're going to specifically, you want to use, quantitative method to answer the question. So I would think, you can kind of change the question a little bit to make it more look like, a quantitative research question. So that's my question. That's my comments on in general for your research questions, and say what factors did the faculty consider important or beneficial when it comes to fully utilizing the new system. So you probably want to specify the factors, because my understanding is that those factors are the predictor variables you will be including in your data analysis, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So if you specify that
my instrument will go with, there's 7 stages for faculty perceptions when there's an adoption involved of a new technology like this.
Okay.
And so it covers those 7 stages of what faculty goes through, so I can really get, are they angry? Are they upset over lack of support? Do they need more training? Are they worried about course copy? All these different things that faculty are upset with or happy about.
But all of those, construct you're talking about, whether they're anxiety, their emotional reaction, their, whatever things, the constructs, that's what we call construct. You measure those using the survey, the numbers, right? You use numbers to measure them. If we use numerical, values to measure the construct, then that's what we do in quantitative research. So in the research question, you might want to specify what factors. Okay, you want to say, do such and such factors, predict or are considered important, to their experience utilizing the new system, something like that. So we can finalize the research question. I'm just talking about the general thing, because the research question implies that, you're going to use a qualitative research, but in fact, you will be doing a quantitative research. So you need to kind of work on the research question a little bit. Say the last research question is, what were the experience, needs, and perceptions of the faculty? So that purely looks, qualitative. Yes, because when we conduct the interview and we ask, okay, what's your perceptions on that? So that type of question is more open-ended, and you welcome people's, opinions. Their perceptions, they share their experiences, stuff like that. So that's the typical way we do in qualitative research. So the question, especially the last one, what were the perceptions, experience, needs, and those are very open-ended questions. So those are the typical, qualitative research question. So that's why I feel like you need to work on the research question, steer it, towards the quantitative, direction.
That's why I appreciate your input so much, because I have a long way to go when it comes to my dissertation and understanding all the different methods, whether it's those two or whether it's statistical.
Well, when it comes down to the statistical analysis, that's a very technical part of it, and those are the details we can leave it to the later. But here we're looking at the whole, more on the more philosophical level. Okay, from what perspective, you reason. Whether you use inductive reasoning or deductive reasoning, and what approach, you use to, that leads to your specific research methods.
So bottom up or top down?
Yeah, top down. So you really have to think top down at this point. And, the specific statistical test is the one on the bottom. Okay, we're going to take care of that later on, but not at this point. So that's why I usually would look at the research question and the design to see whether they're aligned with each other. Because when I read the research question, I feel like, oh, you probably want to do a qualitative research. It looks very much like a qualitative research. But when I came down to the design and realized, oh, you want to do stepwise multiple regression. So let's talk about the specific design of the study. You mentioned about descriptive statistics, and no matter what type of statistical test we're going to use, whether we use multiple regression or ANOVA or whatever test, or chi-square or whatever, basically descriptive statistics is what we get anyway. So usually we don't bring that up to the front, because that is just the basic information.
So I shouldn't even mention that at all, because that is like
it's really
a given?
Yes, because that's part of the data analysis. You're going to report it anyway. That's not the major focus of your study. Basically, that's what it is. And but really depends. This is a very tricky question. For some students, when they do not win their dissertation, doesn't have a very specific test to use. They just do a descriptive. Then of course they need to focus. Highlight that part. But for your design, because you're thinking about using a multiple regression, and that will be your major. That's where meat is. So descriptive, that's just, we're going to report it anyway. So you do not have to, highlight that up front. So you want to say the study is going to use a multiple regression. And here specifically you talk about stepwise multiple regression. Stepwise, if we want to look at, I think that may make sense, depending on the variable, so we can leave that, So is there any particular reason you want to use stepwise?
I have no reason.
Okay, why you pick it?
Because I have read several dissertations in their methodology.
They use stepwise?
And based on them using my same instrument.
Oh, okay. They use
stepwise, and it made sense for me to use it.
I think it makes sense. Okay, the difference.
Now, I'm not, I'm not so clear on exactly what it all means. I'm hoping by the time I'm finished, I will have a much better.
You will. You have to. I promise you. So basically, the difference between standard versus stepwise, there are three types of, standard, stepwise, and hierarchical. And let's leave that out. Let's compare the standard and stepwise. The difference is when we look at the standard deviation, the standard multiple regression, we put, for example, we have three predictors. We just put them together, and they more or less, they have some overlapping among them. And we do not look at their individual, we only count the unique contribution from each predictor. And so all three predictors are considered equal, and they are entered at the same time. They were entered to the model, to the multiple regression model at the same time. So there's no order, between them. For the stepwise, there is an order, and the order is decided by the program itself. So the program automatically will pick the one that weighs the most. And the one that weighs the most take all of the credit, including its unique contribution and the overlapping part this variable has with other variables. So there's an order, when we talk about stepwise. So for example, if we, find the predictor 1 is the program, depending on the data, and the program will decide, predictor 1 seems to weigh the most. So then they will put that into the model. And after they put that one in the model, they keep adding another one until the model doesn't fit. So it can tell you, on which one weighs the most and which predictors, one or more than one, will give you a good model. So that is the difference between stepwise and standard. So I think because you're looking at the different stages based upon the survey, that's why they use that. They can figure out which one is the most important. I think it makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
That does make sense. Thank you.
Yeah. You probably want to, do you have any like statistic, textbook or can?
I do have fields.
Okay, Fields, and that's a great book. Yeah, that's a great book. So, Fields, and
Yes.
they talk about, this is a very good reference book. I'm sure it's kind of overwhelming. Multiple regression, okay, and they talk about, let me see whether, okay, here, 324. Okay, but they don't have, choose a method. You might want to read this section. You can write down 8.514, choose a method. And this can, probably provide you some information. Okay. I can send you another document. Operational frauds. Okay. Okay. Yeah, read chapter 8, and that will probably can, you may run into a lot of, things that you don't, very confusing, but, keep reading this chapter probably, that will help you understand the whole concept. I can send you another document.
Thank you.
Yeah, so you can have a better understanding on this. So your research question, based upon what you want to do, you want to look at whether the predictors will be contributing to. Okay, let me see. What is your dependent variable in this case? So you're going to use the stages of concern questionnaire. How many variables are going to use out of this survey, out of this questionnaire?
Well, I want to have personal. I think 3 independent variables, like personal information as far as demographics go.
Okay.
I think their experience with technology is going to be one.
Okay. How are you going to measure that? Just a questionnaire? Or going to use a survey to get that information?
I think the questionnaire is going to be, I've already put it in Qualtrics as a survey.
Oh, okay.
And it will.
The number of years?
Yeah, there will be a part in the end of the survey that brings up the demographics.
Okay. Demographics, okay.
There's 35 questions for the questionnaire.
For that questionnaire, right?
Yes, ma'am.
For the concern.
And then I've added
concern.
a demographic questions, at the bottom.
Okay.
To help me get all this information that I wanted to get out of the questionnaire.
Okay. Let me see. So basically, you want to use the stages of concern questionnaire to measure the dependent variable, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Not independent variable.
Right.
Okay. So what does that stage of concern measure? Does it give you one measure or several measures?
Well, it gives several. I haven't really gone into a whole lot of depth as to what all the questionnaire covers. I've basically gone into its history in this section so far. But there's a whole lot of more meat that describes what all it measures, because there's like 3 major pillars that covers these 7 stages that will uncover what faculty perceive in the relation to the adoption of this technology.
Okay.
And so there's so much more that this questionnaire adds that I don't have in my paper yet.
Okay. So I want to see the survey, so I can know what.
I may have put it in the. Maybe I don't know if I have it in there or not, but I thought I had it in there.
I see the permission.
So I don't have the actual questions in there.
Yes.
I can get that for you and show you what that is.
Because I think I need to look at the survey itself, and there's no survey.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I want to find out. Because here you mentioned. Okay, the instrument used in this study consists of a stage of concern questionnaire to measure the dependent variable of the intense stages of concern for faculty and perception questionnaire. So we don't really know, what dependent variable you are talking about here, and what does it measure specifically? What construct does it measure? So I need to look at that, stage of concern to find out what exactly it measures. And also you said the survey entails data that measures the independent variable of demographics related to personal age, gender, teaching experience, as well as technology scale, prior technology use, professional development, and perception towards instructing with technology. That's fine. We can, use those as independent variable. So, and you said the stage of concern questionnaire will be administered to participants twice at the beginning and end of school year. And if you use multiple regression, then you do not have to administer, do it twice. We only need one data at one shot.
I think in my IRB I changed that, and I haven't changed it on here.
Oh, okay.
Because I realized,
I
realized that when I was looking at stepwise, that it only needed it once.
Yes,
and so I've
multiple
already changed it.
regression only once.
Okay.
Yes. So just conduct that once. Okay. Okay, here you talk about the stage of concern was developed as one of three diagnostic dimensions of concern-based adoption model. Okay, this is how they develop this.
I think I had twice in there because I was concerned with, because the release of D2L won't be coming out until like the fall. And so I didn't know if I was going to be able to get enough information from those who are going through the pilot testing and those with experience in LMS.
Okay.
Whether it is D2L or only eCollege or maybe some Blackboard or whatever.
Yeah, because
So I was kind of concerned about that.
Because different departments are at different stages at this point.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So.
But certainly, if I only need to do it one time.
Once.
Then that's all.
I think that will keep it more cleaner. I think. It's to assist.
I would trust your judgment because.
Yeah. Only once for multiple regression, definitely. But it really depends on. What research question specifically you want to address. Do you want to focus on the faculty that have mixed experience, with different system, or you want to look at, the faculty that have already started using that, exclusively. I
think I can throw in something related to if you have been involved in a pilot test. I can separate those faculty who are going through at this time, and just those faculty who have LMS experience.
Right.
And if they've gone, I can find out if they've gone through an adoption, what they think about this time period, because all of them have gone through this time period.
Right.
That we're looking at the adoption already.
And you want to focus on the faculty that have about the same amount of exposure to D2L. for some faculty, probably they haven't really started, working in D2L yet. Like I just started yesterday. I migrated, like several months ago already, probably, at the beginning of this year, but I didn't have time to work on the course. So I started working on it yesterday. So the exposure to D2L definitely is different, for the faculties with different levels, different amount of exposures. The more you use it, you can see the difference between two systems, and that will, affect your perception. So you may want to use, for the faculties who's done the pilot and their perception should be different from the faculties who haven't really started using that in their course yet. So you probably want to differentiate those and focusing on only, the faculty. I don't know which group would be the, the one that you're more interested in.
Well, I'm thinking a number 250 faculty responses.
Okay, for multiple regression, depending on your independent variable, the number of predictors, and I would say on the if you have, let's say, 5 or 6 or around that number of predictors, and 100 or 150 should be good.
Okay.
So you do not.
Well,
really
I just
have
wanted to make sure how valid the number that I had preconceived was, and what you think about it.
If you look at such a big number, so you probably don't want to look at the pilot, the one that have done the pilot, because you don't have that many faculties that have completed pilot, right?
Yes,
so
ma'am.
you want to look at, I don't know how many faculties we have here overall. How many are teaching online?
I think there's somewhere in the number of 700.
700 total, but not everybody teach online.
Right.
So you have to look at, and also do you want to differentiate the faculty who, exclusively teach online? Hi.
Dr. Chang, I have a brief meeting over at the
Yes.
SRC,
Uh-huh.
and Jimmy Seller's supposed to be here at 10:45.
Okay, yeah.
So I'll be back
Yeah.
by then. If he beats me back, I'll be back shortly. all right?
Okay, yeah, okay.
Thanks,
I'll catch you
Rob.
later. Okay, thanks. Yeah. You have
Do I
to.
need to go?
No. Our next meeting is 10:45. So yeah, he has another meeting right now at this point. That's why I kind of start our meeting earlier, so we
I
have enough time.
appreciate you doing that.
Yeah. So, the faculty who exclusively, teach online might have different perception, from the, the teachers the faculties who teach both. So do you want to differentiate them? Do you want to use, the faculty that, teach only teach online?
Well, I think it would be good to show that in my paper.
Okay.
Differentiate between those who have gone through the pilot versus
You
those.
can use that as one of the predictor.
Okay.
Yes, predictor can be any type of variable. It can be categorical, it can be dichotomous, it can be continuous. So you can use any type of variable as your predictor. So you can use their, the online teaching status, either exclusive online versus the, versus a mixed, as 1, 0, and 1, and use that as a predictor. Yeah, you can do that.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think we can do that. So you need to send me the survey so I can look at what the stage of concern really measure. I think that's because here you said this one is to assess the extent of implementation. Oh no, it's to assess teachers' concern about strategies, programs, and materials introduced into a school. Okay. So okay, yeah, send me that. I think it should be good, because it look at their concerns about the strategy, the new programs introduced in school. So I think that's a good one. Yeah, but my guess is that you're going to get one value out of that survey. But I don't know. I have to look at that, questionnaire, the stages of concern, and to see how we can, because for the multiple regression, including stepwise multiple regression, for the dependent variable, we only need one value, which is a continuous variable. Yeah, we need a number for that. One number is okay. Yeah. So we don't need seven, numbers. We only need one number.
Okay.
So for stepwise. And so another thing I think you probably want to further nail down is the number of predictors, which one specifically you want to use. Here you mentioned about demographics, like personal age. Age might be a good one, and you ask them how old are they. So they gave you a number, not age groups. I think that would be better. Specific age, yes. Okay. Gender, of course, and you code them, that's categorical. Teaching experience, so you want to ask them how many years of online teaching they have done. Yeah,
yes,
ask that. I think that makes huge difference. Do you want to ask them how many years of teaching overall, no matter whether it's online or face-to-face? Do you want to ask that?
Do you think that would be important since, it's really not what I'm covering?
No, not really. I think the number
of
years
online
makes sense.
Is where the most important value would come in my paper.
Right.
Not that the other one wouldn't be important to somebody.
Mm-hmm. I know, for your topic,
right,
yes.
But just my topic was probably best to spend my time in online experience.
Yes, I'll agree, yeah. So, and also technology scale, how are you going to ask about that, technology scale?
Well, I really hadn't thought a lot about it because everyone don't have, say, a degree or training in educational technology, instructional design. Mm-hmm. They have basically learned from maybe the faculty center or other faculty who are more skilled in that arena or more
Unless
skilled.
you use a survey to measure their technology skill level. Unless you can find another survey or instrument to measure their technology skill. If you can find one, you can use that to measure them, their skill level.
That might be invaluable to this paper as well.
Of course. So,
well, I will look for that, and I will send it to you as well, and I will definitely send you today my SOCQ.
Okay.
So you can see what that is.
Yes. And what else? Prior technology use. Are you going to ask them? Have you used some other system
what
other than
LMSs
e-college?
I think what all LMSs have you utilized over your? I think
except e-college. Because some faculty may have used Blackboard and they like it, so they don't like e-college, so they may value E2L more. I don't know. That's just one of the guess, right? And for the people who exclusively used e-college in the past, and there's no comparison for them, so their perception might be different. So you can ask that. So you can code people into either with prior, other technology usage before or not. Right, except e-college. So you can just ask them what other platform you have used except e-college. Please specify. Yeah, you can do that. So you can code them into 0, 1. Yeah. So professional development.
I brought that up because I think so many faculty lack, in order to build their confidence level, good training, such as good PD, helps them.
Right. But I think everybody attend.
Well,
is it kind of required? Because I think everyone in our department, took the workshop twice, basically. So I think that's type of, agenda they have to go through.
My thinking is outside of the box of the required trainings.
Oh, okay.
Because I think there's so much more to learn in regards to.
But how are you going to measure?
Well, I haven't really thought a lot about that.
So
because
you
it's just something.
Think, I don't know either. So
I just think that finding out what makes you more successful and confident in an LMS. Is it better professional development training? Is it just getting there and using it and working with it? Some like hands-on, some like to be trained. Because everybody has different ways to learn.
Yes, yeah.
And so whether it's training, whether it's hands-on, whether it's trial and error, whether it's just
Right.
exploration, I really want to find out all the challenges based on, when there's an adoption, what are your challenges as faculty, so that I can help other faculty who are having these problems and make them more confident and successful too, because I think the wave of the future is more online.
Right.
There's more.
Right.
I mean, LMSs, CMSs, everything related to.
How about asking them whether they use, other online social media or something like that? They're more tech savvy. Because, when you talk about professional development, that's very kind of official type of, workshop provided through your workplace. And that's basically kind of required, everywhere. So you won't be able to see too much over there, too much variance over there. Everybody might tell you, okay, yes, I did go to that professional development. I did go to that workshop for this.
So a question could be,
so
what helps you the most? PD, online media tools?
So here you probably want to kind of change the professional development into the online. Ask them whether they use computer for whether what's their internet use. I don't know. I'm still thinking. Trying to find the best way to say it. Using social media might have nothing to do with this, I think, but you probably would suspect, a large amount of computer use, for different purposes,
such
no
as
matter whether it's
YouTube and all their tutorials.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Because that is one of the places that I utilize more than anything. Whether it has to do with school or home,
for statistics,
you can find almost anything on YouTube as a tutorial to help you do something. And I go for just about all my classes, whether it's statistics, I've used in every subject.
I know, I use that for my course as well.
And I teach my students to rely heavily on YouTube. If you're having trouble with your e-portfolio or your blog or a discussion, go to YouTube and see what they have. And so, because there's so many people putting.
How about this? You can put a short kind of question. Do you use YouTube do you use YouTube regularly in your I don't know. You can find a better wording. Do you use YouTube? Do you use do you online shop a lot? Basically we want to find out. How about look for a survey to kind of gauge people's internet usage. I'm sure there are some. There's a journal. Let me see whether I can find it, because I used to. I'm very interested in the studies on online topics. I used to.
Well, someday when you want someone else to help you do research on those subjects, I would love to be a part of it if you have an opportunity.
I'll be glad. Check out cyber psychology, behavior, and social network. You can sign up and they send you the free journal. Yeah. So they have a lot of things, say the social network usage. You can focus for your study. You want to find one to assess people's internet usage. The more they use internet, computer, and more likely probably, their perception will be, different. So yeah, this journal.
Okay.
This is kind of like open source, open access journal. Yeah.
Thank you.
So find a short survey. It doesn't have to be something big. Of course, you have to find one with good reliability and validity to measure their internet usage. I think that's probably important to your topic. And okay, so here you said as what technology scale and prior profession development and perception towards instruction with technology. So this actually is what you're trying to measure in that using the stage of concern, right?
Yes,
so basically you can take this out from predictor, from independent variable. Yeah. Yeah. So I think, this is not the final version, I would say, but it, give you, it cut down more, weeds at this point, and we have a cleaner design at this point, But we can further work on the number of predictors, There could be, some other things, you want to add later on, or you think some predictors are kind of similar, so you want to just keep one. Yeah, because the idea is that, we don't want to see the redundancy between the predictors, the obvious, redundancy between predictors. So if you find the 1, 2 very similar, basically they're measuring the same thing, then you can just either combine them or just use one of them. Yeah. Okay. So we can work on the predictors. Yeah. Okay. So good. How many do you have right now, based upon what you jot down?
Predictors wise?
Yes, predictors.
Well, I think.
Do you have like 5, 7, 6? I think around that number.
I think 6 is what I have 6. Currently.
I think that's appropriate, number-wise. But we can, kind of screen through again and to make sure those are good. Yeah.
Make sure, I need to make sure that they're as finite.
They have high correlation.
And they have good quality based on what we want to get out of the paper.
Right. And we want to see the high correlation between each predictor with the dependent variable. But of course, I have to look at the stage of concern questionnaire to verify the construct that is measured by the questionnaire. Okay. I think that is a key. Yeah. And then after we nail down the design, the number of predictors and the number of predictors, we can decide the sample size needed for your study. So and also further, like what we just discussed, what specific group of faculty you want to focus on, and that's the part you need to specify in population. Where is this at? There should be a section talking about selection of participants. You want to specify who I'm going to use. Who are those participants? The faculty, with without pilot experience, or something like that. You need to specify that in that section. So that's the thing you want to further clarify. Yeah, you can include different employment status. I don't think that matters as far as they teach online.
Okay.
So yeah, you can include adjunct as well, and all subject area, all departments. I think that's fine. Do you think the faculty from like the computer science will have a different perception compared to the faculty from different departments?
Well, I think I'm going to be surprised at what they value in LMS, because these are programmers. These are
they use computer every day. They live on it.
And that's whether they probably don't worry so much about designing an LMS course.
Add that into what is your department? What is the area? Add that to the demographics. We could add that to our model. I think we could. We can just say whether they are tech related, versus non-tech related. I think we only need to differentiate those two groups. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that will make a difference.
Yeah. So yeah, we can start there. From there, I think the design should be clear. And in the last, after you're done with that, then you can work on the research question. And for the multiple regression, I can send you some tutorial, and there are some examples of the the research questions, so you can take a look.
Okay,
yeah. So we can go from there. Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay. Okay. Let me see whether I can find one here. I think I have it. Okay, and here I have a document talking about stepwise and how to do that, step-by-step instruction in SPSS. Do you have SPSS? Yeah. And this shows you, how to run and how to interpret. I think you will need this one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
So I'll send you this one. And also, okay, and here, let me see. Okay, and this one talks about, also talk about standard versus stepwise, and this is the data analysis for stepwise regression.
Okay.
Yeah, so I can send you this one as well. Let me find one whether, and also, I think I need to send you this one. Assumption, I need to mention this. Before conducting any data analysis, we have to make sure, we have to kind of assess their assumptions and to see whether the assumptions are met. Because in general, there are two types of statistical tests. One is parametric and one is non-parametric. For the parametric test, for example, Pearson correlation, multiple regression, ANOVA, t-test, and those are considered parametric tests. And so for parametric tests, we have to make sure the certain assumptions are met. For example, the dependent variables are normally distributed, normality. For example, the homogeneity, they have equal variance between groups, stuff like that. So those are the assumptions for the multiple regression. So let me send this one to you.
Okay,
for your proposal in the data treatment section, you need to mention that. You said, okay, I'm going to, assumptions will be tested to make sure they meet the normality, the homogeneity, such, assumptions. You just need to mention here. And in chapter 4, in the results section, you need to, use the data to test those assumptions before, doing the hypothesis testing, before you analyze the data, basically. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm going to send this to you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. And sometimes if the assumption, and it doesn't mean you have to meet all assumptions. And some tests are kind of robust, and it is still okay to, run the test. But you still need to test it to show, how their assumptions are, whether they're met or not, whether it's just a minor violation or it's just badly, So sometimes if it's really bad, we may, use non-parametric tests to analyze the data. So that's one thing I want to let people know. The data analysis is a dynamic process, and we don't know what data look like at this point. At the proposal stage, it's simple. We propose we're going to use it, but we don't know whether we can really use that for our product, basically. So we have to wait until we see the data and then make the decision to say, okay, we can still use it. So basically, most of the time we can, but in some cases, when data is really out of shape, we have to reconsider and use non-parametric kind of equivalent type of test to answer the question. So, yeah.
So is there, based on me getting passed with the IRB in regards to my methodology?
Well, at this point, for the proposal stage, you can go ahead to propose that. But it is okay to say, okay, my data, when I really analyze my data, and I can change the data analysis method, there's no problem on that.
Okay.
Yeah, because your methodology is, IRB is concerned about methodology. They mainly, concerned about the protection on human data, basically.
Well, I just want to make sure that how I word it leaves them no doubt as to what I'm saying, and that I'm clear that this is what I'm proposing, but things may change as
you don't have to mention
you
don't have to say that. You say, I will be doing this, and the assumptions will be tested. That's it. And we will be using stepwise multiple regression. That's it. Yeah, you don't have to mention the possible changes. No, you don't do that at this stage.
Okay.
Yeah. So
because I think what I put in my IRB confused Dr. Justice. So it concerned me that either I put too much in there or I wasn't clear as to what I was saying.
And one thing you mentioned in your proposal, you mentioned about NOVA. Take that out. You
Okay.
don't. I think that's a part of confusion. So just stay focused
so, too.
on stepwise multiple regression. That's it. Yeah. So are you teaching in D2L right now?
No, I'm still in e-college, but I've gone to all the meetings
Oh, okay.
regarding
Okay,
the adoption
okay,
and everything, so I can have better
Okay.
resources
So when
for my
are you
paper.
going to switch to D2L? In summer or in
Well,
fall?
you know, as soon as they allow me to switch, I'm ready to switch.
I think you have to switch by fall, right? Yeah. So I'm considering to use that in my fall class. So
I've been talking to Brett Murray and been going over how professors and students are going with the change for the pilots. And
she's in pilot right now. Do
and
they like it?
And majority like it. So
I started working on it yesterday, and I struggled to find out because I'm redesigning the course. So I try to put like 16 weeks into like units. So I have to combine the quiz into one unit. So I email Mike. I can in the IT.
right, the director over there.
Yeah. And he said, okay, you can move all of your test items from each week into a pool. And then you just kind of link, pull the items, into the new quiz, whatever assessment from the library, the library, the
Right,
test
that pool
bank.
you have, yeah.
I think it worked out for me, but I still need to practice and learn how to, make everything. One thing I'm still struggling, I don't know whether you have started or not, I don't know how to set up the gradebook. That's something. So you know how to?
Well, I want to send you what I know on this.
Cool.
As to what I've been given training on.
Oh, okay.
And see if it helps.
Oh, okay. Good.
Now I haven't mastered it yet either. But I do have some things that maybe you don't have yet.
Okay. Good.
And so I will send that to you.
I receive a bunch, but I haven't really dig into those materials, And sometimes I feel like if you ask them a question, they can give you specific, document. And he just, give me a document, shows me how to set up everything step by step. So that just very, quick, right on spot, and I can know how to do that immediately. Yeah. So good. Yeah, share the information to me so I can, because how many courses are you teaching? Two. What courses?
E-Tech 424.
Oh, okay.
Integrating technology into curriculum.
Oh, okay.
For it's pre-service teachers getting ready to student teach.
Oh, okay.
Is the majority of my students.
Okay. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I really love that class.
Okay. So those are pre-service teachers, right? Okay. Yeah.
Now I have anywhere from freshman to senior. Now it used to be just basically upperclassmen, but
Okay.
I think now they're allowing students to get in that class sooner, but it's something they have to pass. And
Okay. So it's under course, right?
Yes.
Under.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we may work on something together. I mean, doing the research.
I would love that.
Yeah. So
Plus, I love learning.
Mm-hmm.
I want to get everything out of your brain that I can. Because I just admire how smart you are.
Well, I try my best, and I'm doing a study on my stats course, and I want to find out, for specifically, because I'm teaching the ed leadership, the doctoral students, and they're very different. So
I can imagine.
I want to find out, what would be the best online stats teaching. Stats teaching is very difficult, very different from teaching other content-based course. So I'm doing a, kind of like a quality research and to find out, whether the course design or the technology, whatever, stuff.
So do you teach intro or
Both.
to stats or advanced both?
Yeah, both. Yeah,
Because I had
603,
intro with
604.
Dr. Francis.
Oh, okay.
And
did you use the same book?
yes, ma'am.
Oh,
Sure
okay.
did.
Yeah.
And I was in his office every week
Oh, okay.
getting tutoring and mentorship, everything I could get from him every week because I struggled so much. And when I went to Dr. Kim to ask her about advanced, she said, "Did you struggle in intro?" And I said, "Very much." She said, "You don't want to take advanced." So
You don't have to?
well, there
I
was
think it's
advanced
required.
qualitative
Oh,
that I could
you
take in
can,
place of it.
oh, okay, so you don't have to take two quantitatives.
No, ma'am.
Okay.
I just had to take intro to
Oh, okay.
stats,
Okay.
and she
Okay.
referred me to not take advanced. So I went and talked to her, and
Maybe I can show you the course. Since we still have some time, I can show you the course for my 603.
okay.
Yeah. So you can take a look and to see whether, it would help you, understand. I was thinking, I want to kind of, save all the materials because I want to kind of tweak the whole thing into like units by topics, for example, like the units talking about the independent sample t-test, the ANOVA, and so people can, the dissertation students can go back and review the materials.
Well,
And
besides that, one day I want to be teaching this class, and I want to get much better at statistics than where I am now.
Okay, so this is this is 603. This is the one I taught last fall. Why? I could open that yesterday. Why it shows that?
Yes, I've gotten that a lot before too.
Oh, really?
Sometimes it could be the browser.
Oh, browser?
Because I use Chrome the most.
Okay.
And a lot of times when I've called IT, they'll say, "Well, try a new browser." And
yeah. Or I can just open the real course because that's the one they like migrate to. Still. So could it be browser? Let me see.
Could be browser. Could be
this
the server's down.
Server's down. Okay, let me see. I don't know whether I have other browser here. Let me try.
Well, I have Windows.
Let me try on this computer. So which browser, have you heard about any browser, for issue with D2L?
I have definitely not heard of any issues with Chrome regarding D2L or even because I use Chrome and I use Opera and IE a lot.
Oh, okay.
And I always have a backup with Mozilla.
Oh, okay.
But I haven't had any issues with Chrome because that's my go-to.
Okay, Chrome. Okay, so if anything comes up, I will use Chrome. So have you scheduled for your proposal yet?
Not yet. I'm still in the stage to get my IRB approved.
Okay.
So that I can start my surveys.
Okay. So Dr. Holt said you are going to take the data analysis, right?
Yes, ma'am.
In summer. Okay.
Right.
Yeah. So that'll be good. Okay, I think. Do you want to come here and take a look?
Sure.
I think it is working here. Good. So here, this is the course I taught last semester. So this is the intro. So we covered, and basically those are, the welcome and statistics basics. Like in these basics, we talked about the central limit theorem. Those are pretty, theoretical stuff. But I would say the most useful one, would be starting from here, like we do the, descriptive. And I would make PowerPoint and record my lecture with the PowerPoint. Yeah. So, and also provide a lot of, informations, to, they can always, find out those tutorials to help them understand what to report, and this unit, this week, we talk about the descriptive data. And here we talk about correlation. So correlation and how to make a scatter plot and how to run correlation, and this is a writing example, So I think all of those should be, beneficial to doctoral dissertation students, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And here we covered the simple regression. Yeah, and we didn't cover multiple regression. I'm going to include that into the intermediate, the second stats course. Yeah, so if you take that course, that will help with your data analysis.
Good, I will definitely look forward to getting a better grasp on that.
And this is independent sample and dependent sample t-test. Yeah, so, yeah, and this is ANOVA, and ANOVA post hoc.
Now, what has been the biggest struggle for you when it comes to stats? When you're doing a course, do you find students struggle with stats who don't have a background in, because stats is a whole different monster.
Yeah, it's a whole different language.
When it comes to even math, it's not really math. It's kind of like,
it's a different ways of thinking. It's a different way of thinking, using different languages. So I think the lack of that understanding caused a lot of problems for them to have a good grasp on this subject.
I think what I'm trying to say is, what do you need to have taken prior to a stats class, whether it's intro or not? What's the best way to get prepared?
Okay, I don't know whether there's any way the students who are not registering this course can access the information here.
Right.
Because if you spend time, to watch the videos I made, for example, here, the first week, okay, when I said, welcome to this course, basically, you look at what I talk about here. I talk about the qualitative research and quantitative research, kind of, that is very similar to what I just, discussed with you, So I go from top to down. So I didn't go to the specific, statistical analysis or specific statistics at the very beginning. I gave them the whole picture of doing research and how we do research and the reasoning, you have to incorporate into your designing of your study. I told them this course, I can just share several slides. I recorded in Adobe Connect and I made PowerPoint. So what I told them is that this is a course that is from the research design perspective. It's not a technical research class, the technical statistic class. So you have to understand statistics from research design perspective. So I talk a lot about, from research design perspectives. So that's what
So if someone's had some good research methodologies classes and good instruction there, they're more prepared than someone who hasn't.
Yes, but the problem is that we see all the time, that doesn't really happen in this department or in your department, including, the stuff I say in psychology department. Okay, we always see a gap between the research class and the stats class.
I don't like
and
that.
My idea is that those two courses should be aligned, should be incorporated together. Because when we talk about, statistics, we always start from research design. And you really have to understand how we can, use that specific test to address a research question from the design perspective. So I talk a lot about that in the very beginning. I didn't talk about statistics at all in the first 2 weeks, basically. I talk a lot about research, but of course a lot of terms, only after you understand the terms we use in methodology, you can, have a better understanding on the statistics stuff.
Build on that.
Yes, it has to be built on that. Yeah. So this is what I do over there. Say, why we need it. Sorry.
That's okay.
Hello? Hi, which hospital is it? McKinney? Oh, oh, hi. Oh, and he's fine, and he's good, yeah. Yeah. No, not really. Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, bye. It's a vet hospital.
Oh.
I took my dog to, yeah. So I talk about, why we need statistics, because it really depends on what type of question, what type of data you want to look at. And here I talk about, for example, here, I talk about the different types of, designs and what, number if you use number, it's very similar to what I talked to you just now. So you really have to have an understanding on that, so you can design, a study using a specific appropriate type of statistical test. So you have to understand the whole picture of it. And this is qualitative research, and we, get the data down from observation, and we find a pattern and come up with that's a different way of.
Bottom up instead of top
Yes,
down.
this is inductive reasoning.
Okay. Yes,
Yeah, and that is deductive reasoning. It's a different way of reasoning. And that decides how you're going to design your study. So that's very important. I don't know what that should be covered in research class, but sometimes, it takes multiple times rounds of, learning. So you can really understand, yeah. And for the assignments in this course, basically what I do is to give them, you can say the assignments, okay? For example, in the independent sample t-test. And my assignment is to give students a data, and it's just the one here. It's just the one data file. I keep using the same data file every week, but this data file has multiple, variables. So I ask that you decide which independent variable and dependent variable appropriate for independent sample t-test. You pick, and I don't tell you. And you consider that as your own dissertation data, and you decide, what are you going to do. So basically, it's like a mini project each week. Yeah. So that's how I, design the whole course. Yeah. So some students like it, but still, because it's still challenging. So some students really don't like this course. They complain how hard it is.
It's
Yes,
supposed to be challenging and rigorous.
Exactly. Otherwise, how can we prepare them for dissertation?
Exactly.
Right. So each week, I basically just gave them a data set, data file, and you tell me, you just write your own research question, write your own hypothesis, and then you conduct the study, do the assumption testing, and do the hypothesis testing, and you conduct the whole thing, on the data. So that's what I, do for the weekly assignment. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm going to do the, the 603 and 604 in summer.
Wow. You are really pushing it, aren't you?
I have to. I know some of them say, there's not enough support, stuff like that, but hey, you really have to spend time, studying.
That's right. Well, thank you so much.
Okay, you're welcome. Yeah, send
Dr.
me
Jiang.
the stuff so I can take a look.
I will.
Yeah.
I appreciate your help.
Okay.
And I will send that to you immediately. And I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day.
Oh, sure, yeah. I'm enjoying, working with students all the time.
Thank you.
And so, good luck. Wait for your stuff.
Well, I sure do think you make a great teacher. And I like how you design your courses. I think I should have taken your course. Thank you.
Okay, what's your number?
500 64918. Good morning.
How are you?
How are you?
This is for summer.
Yes, ma'am.
Are you that close?
Yes, ma'am.
That's awesome.
but just not close enough. I need to be walking.
Then what are you gonna do after you grow up?
And then I'm gonna have to get a job. And go to work full time.
Want to write down this number?
Can I borrow one of your?
Yes. I can write it for you.
Thank you.
Hey, May.
Don't you leave!
I'm not. I'm coming back. Oh, man.
That's what you always tell me. There you are. You're
Thank you,
cleared to
ma'am.
register.
Thank you.
This is
So-
an interesting class.
I think so too. Since I've already put in for 6 hours for my dissertation, should I go with 3 hours dissertation and 3 hours for this? Since I only need 6 hours to be full-time? Well, is that what you would do?
Yes.
Okay.
But you don't have to, you need financial
For my
aid?
GA, yes,
Summer? Yeah.
yes,
Okay, yes, you can drop, you can just ask for a 3-hour course
okay.
and that. But be aware, if you take a course other than 718,
No,
along with that course, you will not get your reduction on your 718 course. Sucks, doesn't it? You will not get,
what is a reduction?
you pay less for 718s
Okay,
than you do for other courses, because you only pay tuition and not fees.
okay,
But if you take any course along with it, you will pay full price for that course and full price for 718.
oh, I didn't know
That's what
that.
happened to me, and I got screwed.
Well, I guess I'm going into it knowing I'll get screwed.
Yeah, but it's a little bit of money, and it's gonna
But
save you.
still,
And
there's something I need to learn.
yes, and you need to learn it, and it's cheaper to do it that way than take 4 more semesters to get it done.
I agree. Thank you, ma'am. Thanks for your help.
You're right.
You have a wonderful day.
Sorry.
You dancing?
Excuse me?
Well, you asked me to order some, but then I don't know if
I gotta check them out. I'll figure that out.
Hey, how you doing?
How are you, Dr. Thompson?
I'm well, everything going okay?
Yes, sir. Hey, how are you today?
Now, what are you up to these days?
Oh, still trying to get my IRB complete so I can start working on my survey
Okay.
and get it sent out. And,
So you've already done your proposal defense?
well, no, I have to
Okay, you're gonna do that.
IRB's first, get it approved, and then I'm going to defend as soon as Dr. Justice lets me. I've already sent in all the paperwork,
That's good.
so I'm just waiting to, I want to send her my IRB.
What you gonna be planning to do that on?
Challenges that faculty have when an institution adopts a new LMS, such as from e-college to D2L.
That is fantastic.
So you will be receiving
I'll be happy to fill it out.
a link begging you to please respond to this survey.
Well, I will, I will.
So thank you, Dr. Thompson.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. You too. How are you? How are you, Sir Charlie?
Good, what have you?
Good. How's everything going? I was just talking to Dr. Jiang about statistics.
Oh,
So, hey, how are you today?
Good.
How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Oh, the research that she's doing?
Yeah, it helped just, I needed some help on my chapter 3, just to make sure that I'm putting the right terminology and things associated with my different variables and, well, I'm trying to get my RB approved, and the methodology section Dr. Justice wanted me to redo. So I was just making sure with her that I
Oh, so
put
you
in.
have already got the whole thing written, the proposal written? That's fast, and
So,
I haven't. That's nice.
I'm
I'm just
just-
wasting my time.
Well, I just want to get done so bad.
Me too.
And it's like, they're offering also, well, of course, you're already so smart with stats because you took advanced and
Yeah,
you made an A on yours,
yeah,
didn't you?
yeah. I think.
But they're having a summer class for doc students in statistics.
Oh,
It's
okay.
a personal one-on-one consultation with a new stats professor. So I'm getting into that. 'cause I want to learn more about stats.
So how long is your, the total proposal, like how many pages? I'm a little confused on that.
You mean chapters or pages wise?
No, pages, right? I know you have to do 1, 2, and 3 chapters for the proposal, right?
5.
5? No, for the proposal wasn't it 3?
Oh, well, proposal's 3,
Yeah,
but the overall is 5.
yeah, overall it's 5.
Yes,
The
yes, you're right.
proposal is 3. So how many pages are you?
Well, right now mine is 80.
Oh, that's too long, no? I thought 40 or 50 would be good.
Well, as long as you cover everything that you need to, page-wise is really irrelevant. As long as you cover what needs to be covered.
Right.
40 or 50 can be fine. I've seen some over 300 for 3 chapters. So it just depends on,
What do you want to convey?
yeah,
how
what
much
you're
you
trying to
want?
get
Yeah.
across. So if I could do it in 25, I would.
Also, you know what happened, what was problem with I changed my topic from
Oh.
what I did when I did my 718, not 718, 710. Then, so back then I was thinking of doing it on, in medical school, but then when I tried to reach them, that can I do, and I repeatedly reached them, and they kind of did not respond. So I thought if they're not responding, then I was somehow confident that I can, because if I'm doing it on in medical school, then I need an IRB approval here as well as there. So then I kept on contacting them before, I start doing that, and then they did not.
Oh, that's not good.
So yeah, so that was a real
I'm
drawback.
sorry.
So then I had to do it all over again. But,
Bless
yeah,
your heart.
I know.
Well, I hope everything goes much better for you this round.
Yeah. So when are you planning to propose? Summer?
I would like to have everything ready to propose by the end of this semester so I can propose this summer.
Oh,
So that's my goal, so I can graduate in the fall.
okay.
So my goal was August to graduate, but I don't think it's going to make.
Okay. Good luck with that.
Well, what is your your goal?
I'm thinking next spring.
Hmm.
Yeah, because I was a little late behind, and then there were a lot of things. When you have a small baby at home, that's
Oh, bless
well,
your
I'm
heart.
giving excuses maybe, but then
Well, still, that's something that I don't have.
yeah. So that was.
So I don't have that
And
excuse.
then I had to go to India a couple of times.
For your dad
Um,
or parents, how are they doing?
They're doing okay, but I had been for my dad, and then I come back, and then there was something else. Again, I went, and then recently in the month of March, I had been there, cause my uncle, who's like my dad figure, he was detected with cancer, and so
I'm sorry.
yeah, and he's like, we have a huge property back in India, and we all are kind of heir to that, so we had to sign for them to get that sold and divide the money, and then people have their own thing. So we were like 25 of us who actually own the property. It's on all of our names, so we all had to sit together.
Oh, wow.
So I had to go to India again because they need my signature. I could not do it electronically. So that was again a thing. So yeah.
Bless your heart.
So yeah, the thing from past 1 year that was going on, but that's again an excuse for not doing work.
Well, but you got some extra miles on your credit card and
I don't care about those.
spend a lot of time flying and,
Yeah.
well, I hope you enjoyed your family time that you got to have when
yeah,
you were
yeah.
doing that. So I'm sorry it was because of those reasons, but
Yeah.
sometimes life does get in the way.
I hope now I do it. I hope now I finish it this way.
Well, just hang in there. You're going to do it.
Thank you.
What's going on, buddy?
Nothing much. All good. You say we're going to get coffee? Let's go and get some.
Time for a refill.